I'm sure many of you have seen the custom mixes on YouTube. One of the best things about Love Live is that there are many variations of the song. We get to listen to different girls sing the same song. Each girl has their own style, and it's cool to hear them sing each song. But wait, what if you want to choose when a girl sings? That's where Love Live mixes come in. Now for Love Live Sunshine, there have been periodic releases of subunit mixes of the songs, but what if you wanted just your best girls singing that song? Well, that's where mixing comes in. For any song that has the solos version released, we have the power to do what we want. In this video, I'll do a tutorial on how I do my solo mixes. If you aren't aware, on my other channel, Benjamin Sopkin, I have made many Love Live mixes before. I'll go over basically almost all you need to know to make one of those kind of mixes. Just a heads up, I'm not perfect, and making a decent mix does require some time and effort to perfect. It will take you some time, potentially many hours, depending on how good you want it to sound. My first mixes weren't the best, so don't get too discouraged. Heck, I'll even show you some of mine. Yeah, so it will take some time to get good at these, but just keep trying and you'll improve. So here is an outline of the process. 1. Choose the song you want to remix. 2. Get the solo songs for that song. 3. Find and open your song mixing application. 4. Enter and line up the solo songs. 5. Segment the sound files. 6. Pick and choose who sings where. And 7. Export your mix. Now, just as a heads up, I'm not a programmer nor an expert at these software, so it's not very likely I'll be able to troubleshoot any of the problems you have, especially if it's a different software that you are using. Please look online for solutions, as I'm not sure that I'll be able to solve any technical problems. So try to look over there first before asking me, and try not to really ask me any technical questions. If you want clarifications on what I said, that's fine, I am happy to do that, but beyond that I can't really help. Beyond that, let's start with the first step. Choose the song you want to remix. Before we want to mix a song, we need to know which song we would like to mix. You'll need solo versions for the given song. Now for Aqua, you'll be limited to Thank You Friends and Landing Action Yeah. So I'll focus on Muse, as they have 3 albums that we'll be able to focus on. Go visit the Love Live wiki, link in the description. So here I have one of the Solo Live collections. As we know, there are 3 of them. Here you can see that the solo collections cover a variety of songs. Many of the popular songs as well as subunits are included. If you want to do older songs, I would recommend looking at the first solo collection. These songs are even before the anime itself. If you're looking for season 1, you probably want to take a look at the solo collection 2, where this includes most of season 1 songs and maybe other ones there as well. If you want season 2 or the movie, you want to take a look at the solo collection 3, where it has up to 30 something songs for each one. Now I would recommend just taking a look at the third one because it has the most recent songs. Maybe there's less likely people remix this already, and it probably overall has the highest quality of songs in my opinion, and there's just so many songs here, so it's probably the best one to take a look at this. So I'll choose one from the third box, and as it is the largest by a large majority, I'll pick my favorite song, Bokutachi wa Hitosu no Hikari. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one. So this is where step 2 comes in. Get the solo songs for that song. So here I'm on the page for Bokutachi wa Hitosu no Hikari. Here you can go and look and browse, but we're going to be focusing on the mix section. Here you can listen to all the different mixes of each version, but just be careful, you have to be on Google Chrome or some other platform that supports that. Safari, for example, will not support it, so don't try using Safari, and if you're on your iPhone, you won't be able to listen to it. So you can go ahead and listen, get a preview of each song if you wanted to, just by listening. Now, you want to get all the solo songs for that song, or at least the ones you want to mix into that song if you just want to select a few out of them. Here, you could download the songs. I really would prefer if you went and bought them through legal sources. Go through iTunes or CD Japan and you go ahead and buy it there. I generally buy it from iTunes. But if you are cheap and don't want to pay, then I guess you can torrent, or if you want, you can go here and click download. You can download the song and you'll get a .ogg file. So a .ogg file, once you open it, will just open up Google Chrome or whatever browser supports that. If you want to remix it, you have to convert that .ogg file to say a .mp3 or .m4a file. So go find a converter online or download an application to use, or you can just buy it legally. Make sure you get all the solo versions for the song. For me personally, I'm just gonna take 3 girls and I'm gonna make a BB version for Bukutachi wa Hitosu no Hikari. So that would be Ellie, Nico, and Tomato. Step 3. Bind/open your song mixing application. Now we need a software which will let us mix the song files we got. If you're on a Mac, you should have GarageBand. If not, it is free on the Mac App Store. As you can see, it's over here. You can download for free if it's not already downloaded on your computer. I personally use this, but that costs $200. So I would rather use something that you guys can easily get to. If you are on Windows, take a look for some song mixing applications, and I'm sure there's some free ones out there. Just browse, look for a bit, and make sure it can mix songs. Do not use Audacity. Audacity is nice, but it is not for song mixing, so don't use it. It will probably make your life miserable. I tried it, I don't like it. It's not good enough. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and do this in GarageBand as well, just so you guys can literally follow with me along if you want to do that. If you do want to see me do it on Windows, if enough people ask and like the video, I could probably try doing that later. But for now, let's go ahead and open up GarageBand. So here is GarageBand. We're going ahead and hit new project, then empty project, and then we're going to click choose. Now it's going to open up this window. They can give you options. It's not that important. I just say we're going to start with a software instrument. And we're going to hit create. Now we have a bunch of things popped in front of us. Most of this is not relevant. If you see a keyboard in front of you, the command to take it away is Command plus K. That'll make the keyboard go away because we won't have to worry about that whatsoever. Now I want you to go to the top left and see this right here. Let's click that to close the library. We're also going to click this because we don't want the smart controls either. We're also going to hit these purple numbers and the metronome because we don't want to take it time for it to start before we begin our mixing, and the metronome, I just think it's not very useful, but it's just like a real life metronome. You will hear the ticks in the back for every second. Beyond that, we're going to drag this all the way to the left just to give us more room to work with here so we get more real estate. So now we have the place set for entering the songs. So that starts the next step. Enter and line up the solo songs. Find all of your solo songs and drag them below the piano line. So I have my solo songs here. I have Maki, Nico, and Ellie. So I'm going to go ahead and drag those down here. Alright. So now that I dragged them in, it's created a line for each one. So I'm just going to drag it so it's alphabetical. So Ellie, Maki, Nico. So here we have Ellie's, Maki, and Nico's sound file. We're here, we're going to go to the piano, we're going to click in the gray area and just hit delete because we don't need that. Next I'm going to highlight all these, click the top of this and drag it over. So now let's take a listen to this song file. So as you can see, it sounds a bit weird, like echoing a bit, like what's going on. So once I've played it, which you could play by pressing the spacebar or hitting this triangle up here, it played the songs, but it's weird because it sounds like it's echoing. Now the reason why this happens is because the solo versions are not perfectly lined up. They are separated by, I don't know, milliseconds. So we're going to get this strange distortion sound. So let me go ahead and just play Ellie's and see if it sounds fine. So as we can see, that sounds fine, but when we add more of them that are not perfectly lined up, the instrumentation is going to be a bit off, which gets you that weird distortion sound. So what we need to do is line up the songs. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and zoom in a lot. So to order to zoom in, we're going to hit the slider here. So as you can see, all these bumps, this is the visualization of the sound that is in the file. Generally, the taller it is, the more sound you can hear. So each file should look very similar because it's just a solo version of each song. That means if we want it to sound fine, what we have to do is line them exactly so that every single waveform line pairs up with other waveforms. So what you're going to do is take a look to see if you can find any distinct features that look like that they'll line up with the other song files. So example, I could take a look at this one right here. I can see there's a little bump here that each one shares, and they all look pretty similar. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in more. So basically, I'm trying to like microscope in so I can see the small minute differences. And then I'm going to keep zooming in until I can get really close, and then I'm going to pick up and drag this sound file. Now I'll recommend dragging any song file to the right, because the way that I have it is when we look over all the way to the left, I can't drag it anymore left because that's where the song starts. So I recommend dragging it to the right. As we can see, this one is way off. This kind of area is way over here. So for different songs, this is going to be different areas where you're going to have to look, and you're just going to have to spend a lot of time just looking and trying to pair up the best of your ability. Sometimes it will not be the exact same, and that's unfortunate, but that's something out of my control, and that's just part of the Love Live mixing nightmare that I sometimes go into, because some solo songs will be a little different than the other ones. So it's really hard to pair it up. So how do you fix that? You can't. You just have to guess and check every single time, drag it. If it doesn't sound right, oh well, try again. So I hope you guys appreciate this stuff I have to go through to make these solo songs. So let's go ahead and try it, because we don't know if this is right or not. So let's go ahead and take a little listen to the song. So as you can now see, it doesn't sound really distorted. In fact, all it really sounds like is the instruments are really loud and the voices are kind of weak. And that's how it should sound, because we have basically 3 times the instruments, but the voices themselves don't really multiply the loudness of that voice. But of course, it's going to be really loud. And if you have 9 song files, you probably want to make it quieter so you don't deafen yourself. In order to do that, there's a slider up here, which you can drag it left if you want to make it sound quieter, or to the right if you want to make it louder. You can also go ahead and mute certain files by clicking these, and that will mute it so you can only listen to one. Or if you click this button, that is a solo, so then you'll only listen to that line. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep moving it until you can get it to an area where you feel it's fine. In solo mixes, you don't have to line up perfectly, but I do recommend getting as close as you can get it to, because it'll just overall sound better. The next step is segment the sound files. So now that we have lined it up to our satisfaction, we want to go ahead and break it up. This will be accomplished with the trim tool or the shortcut Command T, which is the one I'm going to use. So let's go back to the beginning of the song. And now we're going to hit the playback button. But before we do that, we're going to select all the song files. And let's make it so you can only listen to one so it's not too loud. And let's hit playback. So around here is where we get the natural transition from Honoka to Nozomi. So this is also a good spot to switch from one singer to another singer. So I already paused it and then I'm going to hit Command T, and now you see these sound files has segmented. Now you can do this while it's playing, you don't have to stop, you can keep going. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep repeating that process until you have segmented everywhere you would like. So you're just going to keep doing this for the whole song and do it. And you might change your mind, but it's fine. This is part of the process. So just keep breaking it up, and if you don't like it, that's okay. So the next step is pick and choose who sings where. So now that we segmented the song, what we're going to do is that we're going to decide who we want to sing. So let's say we want Ellie to sing at the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the other people, so Maki Nico's files for that segment, and hit delete. So when you go to the next singer, you're going to go ahead and delete the other one. So if I wanted Nico to sing next, I would delete the other ones. If I want Maki to sing next, I'll delete Ellie and Nico's segments. And you're just going to keep doing this so that only one person is at a certain spot. Honestly, you're just going to continue this all out. I'm gonna come back and finish it. But what you guys are going to do is just the same thing, just repeat it for the whole song. So here's a little preview of what it could sound like. So that just gives you an idea. If you're not quite happy with how some of the sounds transition, because they might get cut off early, what you can do is go to the edge and just drag it so you can readjust the timings of it. A helpful reminder is that you want to balance the singers, so try not to have a character sing for too much or for too long, and make sure you switch around once in a while. Remember, sharing is caring. The last step is exporting your mix. As you can see here, I finished the selections for the song and I'm overall pretty happy with it. As you can see, there's only one segment that is above another, so we'll never have two people singing at once. So once we're done, we're gonna go ahead, hit the share button, which will be on the top, and then we'll go to song to iTunes. Once we can do that, we can give a title for the song. So I don't know, I'll just call it this for now. If you want to put in your artist, go ahead, do all the other stuff. For quality, I would recommend uncompressed or highest quality, just so you don't get a crappy sounding song. So once you do that, it should go ahead and start bouncing the song. Some other programs might call it bouncing or exporting, so in case if you can't figure that out. And go ahead and open your iTunes, and I'll start playing the song. So that's just an idea of how you would do it. Feel free to rename the song, and if you want, give it an album cover or drop it to your desktop and share it with your friends. Just be careful when uploading to YouTube, since you'll likely get a strike for it. But that more or less overall is the process for making a solo mix. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Hopefully it helped you guys out. If you're interested in mixing, maybe you should give this a try. It's not too hard, and I'll even link in the description for my creation in the description if you wondered how my mix turned out. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you guys again soon.